All right, so welcome. Student requested, I think Connor requested, just kind of give quick initial feedback on how everyone's doing on their discussions and kind of like just talk about the discussion threads and if you're doing it right. So it's kind of hard because we're trying to mush fake face-to-face discussion, but I will kind of walk you through kind of what I'm seeing and kind of give some feedback. So one thing I want to point out is you do get to title your threads, and one thing with titles is they usually encourage people to read your thread. So putting discussion number 1 as your title, which everyone did, is maybe not you're going to try to convince people to read. Remember, you only get 2 people to respond. You want to convince people to read your thread. So come up with a catchy title. I can't write anything without a title, so I'm going to go and I'm going to show Leona. Now, I've talked with Leona earlier today. Leona's finished a graduate program. She's taking this class to kind of finish up certification. She's already really experienced in kind of graduate work and kind of how to do graduate discussions. I'm assuming even in online classes. So one thing I want to say is Leona's work is a good model for the rest of you to kind of try to kind of how you would synthesize all the information. Leona did also title her thread, so I immediately was drawn to that by the title. Now, I coached Leona is that Leona did probably a little bit too much work for each post, each discussion question. So I told her to do a little bit less. So probably, doing really good 1 paragraph kind of responses. Like one of these would probably be kind of good with part 1 and then 1 for part 2. But Leona does a really great job at kind of synthesizing the important information of each thing, and then synthesizing and having kind of quick, short, discrete answers for each kind of those guiding questions for G, and then breaking down a really kind of challenging question to try to answer. I kind of sat there and had to think about it. So this is a good model to do your initial post and ask a question, and then going through and then responding to 2 other colleagues' posts as well, and you're just going to answer their question. If you notice something cool in their analysis, you can add that as well. We will be doing some writing into the day activities, so if you notice something interesting in the writing into the day that gets posted, you can make commentary as well. So one thing you should be already kind of done with your initial post, and then you should be going now through and responding to others' questions, and then going back to your own and seeing responses. I'm trying to do responses to everyone, so you at least have 1 response to then do your kind of final reflection. Now, those aren't really, so the window for this discussion is closing tonight, so I expect to have your initial thread and your 2 responses done by the close of a thread, and then in the next discussion period you can go back and then do a follow-up post to your initial thread as kind of that reflection. And so sometime tomorrow you should be going back and posting back to your initial thread based off of the feedback or the answers you got from your initial question. And I will probably be grading this discussion probably somewhat probably on the weekend sometime, because but the turnaround again is we start a new discussion again tomorrow. And so you're going to keep kind of do this pattern, do your post, 2 responses kind of in that discussion period, and then come back the next day and kind of do that final reflection, and it just could be a cycle pattern. Now, one thing about this first discussion, there's a lot of videos and reading, so I extended it. It's a 3-day kind of block, so I gave you 3 days to kind of do a lot. The next few discussions are going to be really kind of either around 1 reading, or when we do jigsaws where people will be reading a different chapter and then commentating on their different chapter in kind of a jigsaw group. But generally, there won't be as much guided questions for the kind of the rest of the discussions. This is kind of the longest one because it was 3 Do You Speak American videos and 1 G reading. And this is typically, when I teach this course face-to-face, this is like the first week and a half of class are kind of these key readings and discussions. So if it felt like a lot, just think of it was about a week and a half of a normal 15-week semester, just on this part alone. And then each kind of discussion will be a little bit easier to kind of manage because there won't be so many guiding questions. I'll try to limit to maybe 1 slide or 2 slides of just guiding questions for you to focus on. So that's my initial feedback. I also, if you're watching this and you're staying to the end, I did post a sample annotated bibliography. I made it from my Comp 3030 class, so the readings are different. So I didn't want to create a sample where it was the same readings because you know I would probably use that as a sample if I was doing annotated bibliography. So Natalie is a great writer, and so she's agreed to share this with all of you. And so just follow kind of her pattern. Natalie does have a little bit longer annotations, but she does thoroughly answer that kind of, so what, how does this help you become how does this reading help you become a better teacher? So that should be kind of that final summation of your each annotation for the reading if you're going for the A. And agree, and make sure if you're going for the annotated bibliography, you need 3 citations for module 1, 3 citations for module 2, and 3 citations for module 3, and then 1 extra citation from whatever modules. I do have the sample template in Brightspace, and I've done the citations along with kind of the guiding questions for how to do your annotations in the examples and exemplars in the annotated bibliography starter kit document that's there. And so that would those, I think I started 2 or 3, 2. So 3 more. Those would be the citations for module 1, although I think I did a citation for Cain, and I moved Cain chapter 2 to module 2. So that's probably, you would probably need to do another citation, APA citation from module 1. But that's kind of my initial thoughts on discussion thread, and kind of giving you initial just giving you the information. That I do have an example of the annotated bibliography for those who are wanting to go for the A. And take care, and I'll see you all on the discussion threads. Bye.